Okay, so as you can see from the Super Smash Brothers 3D print, I'm going to be talking about that. And today's character is this guy. I have been using you as a prop in like quite a few videos lately. But I was recording my CTT video today, and again, technically it is Wednesday. But I was thinking to myself, I've been seeing Monokuma quite a bit recently. Like a month ago, there was the like celebrating Pac-Man's birthday, and then it was yesterday, the day before, Monokuma was celebrating Sonic's birthday. Wow, the character development there. But also, like, so I saw him hanging out with Pac-Man, with Sonic, with Morgana from Persona 5, one of my favorite games. Funny enough, I also have a Morgana plush, which is not far from where my Monokuma plush sits. So that was kind of neat. But it really got me thinking. Like, a few years ago, I had said Monokuma is one of my most wanted characters in Smash, and he still is. But that felt like kind of a pipe dream. Now that I'm seeing Monokuma, schmoozing it up with other Smash characters and other, like, big gaming mascots, the more it makes me think Monokuma might not be as much of a niche pick as I think he is. I'm getting to a point where I think rather than, like, pleasantly surprised to see him in the game, I feel like I'd be really surprised if he wasn't. Whether, again, the next game is it's Ultimate with some extra DLC, like Ultimate Deluxe plus a Fighter's Pass or two, or no, it's a completely new game, I'm expecting to see the bear show up. And I've been saying for a while, like, Monokuma has a lot of potential for a moveset. Just number one, being an actual bear. Like, there's some fun physical stuff you could do. But with all the executions across the series, there's a decent amount you can pull from. So I gave myself a little thought experiment and challenge today, which was number one, come up with a Smash moveset for Monokuma. Number two, I have to use something from every execution in the series, with obviously a couple exceptions. Exception number one, nothing from 2x2, because 2x2 isn't out yet. Once that comes out, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna be looking through the executions and thinking, okay, what here could be used in a Smash moveset? And number two, I'm not using any of the unused executions from the first game. It specifically has to be used in one of the three games. I guess Ultra Despair Girls is also a game. I haven't played it. I mean, the mainline games for it to count for this. And then there's just some other things like taunts and tilts where I came up with something to do. They're just not execution based. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the non-execution specific aspects of Monokuma's representation. And then I'm just going to go down the list. Like, okay, this execution, etc., etc. So, major spoilers for Danganronpa if you have not played those games. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoilers are now live. Starting with the non-spoiler specific things. So, Monokuma's jab is just going to be using the gavel. And I'm going to be honest, some of these moves, I'm like, there is a character in Smash that already does something very similar. But if you've watched my previous video where I was cutting down the Smash roster, I realized most of the characters that have similar moves, not all, but most of them I actually cut. So Monokuma doing something similar to them is, in one sense, kind of a fun reference. In another sense, it's Monokuma executed them and then just stole their vibe. So the jab would be using the gavel, I think kind of similar to how like Isabelle just kind of bonks people with her hammer. I think the forward tilt would be just kind of like a claw swipe, and I'm imagining there's a bit of a sweet spot at the end of it. I'm pretty sure I ended up cutting Wolf, so it might be similar kind of to what Wolf can do. I imagine the up tilt, I had to just kind of think of something. I don't know. It's like kind of a slight headbutt. Like Monokuma's head gets kind of big. Because I feel like I've seen that in like a trailer for Ultra Despair Girls or something. But I might just be making something up entirely. I don't know. This one's kind of a reach. But just like a little headbutt kind of thing. The down tilt isn't anything specific. I can just see Monokuma just like tripping someone, and it actually has a trip effect because Monokuma is the exact kind of asshole that would trip someone in the game, and I think it would be pretty funny. So the taunts would be referencing some specific sprites. I think the up taunt would be the sprite where, you know, like the hands are on the belly, the mouth is fully open. He doesn't really emote, so I could do it better. Just that, like, that'd be the up taunt. The side taunt is the one where, you know, Monokuma's kind of at the side. It's showing the black half of the face where, like, it's got, like, the claw up, or, you know, the paw up with the claws extended. And it's generally kind of used in, like, more menacing situations. But I think that could work for a side taunt. And then, of course, the down taunt would be just the ooh-poo-poo pose and, like, actually kind of doing the laugh. The victory screens, I think, because I think most characters get 3, unless they get, like, a special one. So I think Monokuma's would be, one would just be swinging the gavel, like, got the execution. A second one would be Monokuma just, like, walking, like, seemingly dragging someone off to get executed. You just don't see who it is. And the third one, I had 2 different ideas. The first one would just be from the end of the very first execution, which is the first time you see the space journey, which is the very start of the first game, where Monokuma's just kind of sitting, and then it zooms in as, like, Monokuma slowly laughing. I think that would work. Something else I thought of, which is also from the first game, which it's character specific, but I think it's really funny, would be Monokuma sitting at the breakfast table, like, at the end of Mondo's execution. Like, that, I think, would be a really funny victory screen. So, that's those. What am I missing that's non-character specific? I think that would be the forward grab, because the forward grab would just be Monokuma dragging someone, like, off to be executed, just, like, step, 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 and then they, like, go forward. Something like that. And was it the down throw? Here, I actually have to consult my list for a second. Oh yeah, it was the down throw, because I think this is something I saw in the trailer for Ultra Despair Girls, where Monokuma, from what I remember, it's like the head gets really big and then just eats somebody. So the head getting big is the up tilt, but also the down throw would just be, like, chewing on someone and then, like, spitting them out. Potentially, if it's a stamina match and they hit 0, they don't get spit out, they just disappear. And I think that would also be hilarious. So I think those are all the non-execution specific moves. So now we're going to go down the list, starting with the first execution, the space journey, which, although it is technically a little different, it basically also covers Kaito's as well. To me, this would be the up throw. I'd initially thought of it as a recovery move, but I think there's another move there. I wasn't really sure what else to do with it, so I think recovery works well enough. But I think this would be the up throw. You know, it's one of those standard smash throws, like Charizard has it, Kirby has it, where you're like, up, down. But here it would be flavored with going up in the rocket, and then they come down, and then it, like, explodes. Next one would be Leon. So that is that's the baseball one. And there's a scene in there where Monokuma swings a baseball bat. So that's the forward smash. It's like Ness's bat. Ness is a character I ended up cutting. So there you go. That gets to still be in Smash. Next one is Mondo. Mondo is the bike. So we're going to use Wario's bike. That's pretty simple. Wario's another character I ended up cutting. After that is Celeste. Celeste is one I had to think about for a bit. And I was like, okay, so the fire truck. Well, the fire truck would be a dash attack. I think there's another execution that works a bit better for a dash attack. There's a scene, I mean, like, you could maybe do something with the stake or with the fire. But there's a bit at the end where there's, like, a firefighter Monokuma who's, like, using the fire hose. And I was like, okay, can I do something with that? Like, does it work similar to Mario using Flood? And then I just thought, what if that's the back air? Like, Monokuma's in the air and then just, like, flips or just, like, kind of does, like, a backhand and, like, whips somebody with the fire hose. And I think that's pretty funny. So that's what I went with. The fire hose is the back air for Celeste. Number 4 is the excavator. This is one I didn't know how I was going to use. I considered skipping it. I was like, do I have to? But it is technically an execution. So I think for me, that's just going to be the down smash is... I'm imagining Monokuma is going to be a very expressive character. So, like, for the down smash, he's just in the excavator and it, kind of hits the ground in front of him. I don't think it's a down smash that's going to hit behind him, which would not be great. That's one of the best things about down smashes. But I think that's a fun way to reference it. And then for the last execution in the first, I mean, technically there's 6 executions. Well, sorry, the Space Journey would make 6. I'm not including I don't even remember what it's called, but Junko's execution, where it just goes through everything, because it's not unique. It's just a combination. But to me, that's the final smash. That is perfect as Monokuma's final smash. It's still arguably my favorite execution in the series, even though it's technically non-canon, but it's still in the game. It still counts. I think Kaede's is my favorite, but Detention is a very, very close second. So moving on to Danganronpa 2, we start with Hanamura's. So that would be the helicopter and the missiles. I thought about the missiles. I really wanted to do something with the missiles, but most of the other special slots were taken. So I think he just rides in a little helicopter and goes up. And it probably functions very similar to Snakes or K. Rool's, K. Rool's in particular. Also not a character I cut, though. I love K. Rool. Next would be Peko. So Peko's is the one with the puppet swordsman. And this is another character reference that I didn't cut, but it might be something very similar to Zelda's, where Yoshi can kind of summon the dude and send it. Monokuma is just kind of holding the puppet and then can send it. Or maybe there's not something you hold, he just kind of sends it out. I think that'd be fun. Mikan's. I really, really, really wanted to use the missile as the recovery, but I was kind of stumped on what to do with Hanamura's. So I was also really stuck on a back throw. And I'm gonna admit, I think this is probably the most jank of any of the execution references. But what I'm essentially imagining is the back throw is Monokuma, grabs a character and then throws them onto them, almost throws them backwards onto, the arm missile, and then it just, shoots forward. It's, in my head, it's kind of a lot, especially for a back throw. But it gets the reference, and it's pretty funny the way it works in my head. So I'm going to count it. After Mikan is Gundam. To me, that's the dash attack. Just ride on... Sorry, not ride on. That's not a Pokemon. But riding on, a herd of animals. It's probably not going to be a whole herd. It's just, one. I don't remember all the animals that were there, but that's the dash. Next is Nanami. This, I think, is the down air. And I think for the down air, Monokuma just gets a Tetris block and just bashes someone with it. Because there's something really funny to me about getting spiked by a Tetris block. Which is kind of what happened to Nanami. So it's also lore accurate. And I feel really bad saying that, but I think it's kind of fun. So... next would be, that's the end of the second game, so now we're on V3, so we've got Kaede, which, look, I can't do anything with the news, it's Smash Brothers, that's not happening, but a piano, because, she hangs, but then you've got the piano closing, and that's kind of what finishes her off, so I think the idea is that's kind of the up air, is almost getting a truncated, smaller piano, and just, kind of using it as a claptrap. Next would be Kirumi, which is the long, thorny vine, but also all the saw blades. So I thought, what if that's what it is? It's Monokuma's Nair, where he kind of spins, but he's holding saw blades, so... I think that's fun. Kyo, I really wanted to do something with a pot. I really wanted that to be the down throw of just putting someone in a pot, and then making him go flying. But I love the down throw of Monokuma just eating someone. It was too funny for me to not do. So Kyo is going to be the forward air where Monokuma sprays salt as a reference to the ending of that execution where he exercises Kyo's ghost. After Kyo is Gonta. So Gonta is going to be the insect gun, which another character reference that I cut might be sort of similar to Diddy's pop gun. And it might be that the longer you hold it, either the bigger the insect is or the further it flies. And then after that is Kaito, which is still the space journey, so that one's already covered. So, again, I believe that is everything. Oh, no, sorry. I skipped one. I did skip one. That's my bad. Mukuros. That is the up smash, because that is the that's the spear. I considered making that a counter because that would make it more lore accurate, but I was like, I don't know what else to really do for an up smash, and I think that one works. So the spear, the excavator, and the bat, you've got 3 smash attacks. The insect gun, the helicopter, the puppet swordsman, and the bike, 4 specials. The Guh, they're like the crusher, you got a final smash. The saw blades, Tetris block, the piano, the salt, and the fire hose. You've got the aerials, and then the back throw is the arm missile, the up throw is the rocket, and then the down throw and the forward throw are just other references. So that would be Monokuma's moveset. I think the only other thing to go over would be costumes. So I believe every character gets 8, so this is the default, just the black and white. I think the next costume would be white and pink, so that would be Monomi. I think the next one is probably pink and black, and I think that would be for Junko. Next would be, I don't know if it'd be white and green or black and green, but it's kind of a darker green, and this is for like Makoto and Nagito, because I believe they both have the same like color. I think it's like Makoto's hoodie and Nagito's coat are kind of the same color. So how many is that? I think that's 4. I've got one that's white and blue, and that's Doraemon, because Monokuma is kind of a parody of Doraemon, and I think that one's really, really funny. I think I have one that's white and purple, which is Kokichi. And then I think I had another one that was like kind of brown, like a light brown and white, or excuse me, light brown and pink for Kaede. And the last one was essentially just the white and black, but a lot shinier, like more robotic, with like the electric blue eyes for Kibo, because I think like a more robotic looking Monokuma could be pretty fun. So that was my idea for Monokuma's moveset in Smash. A way to represent every official Danganronpa execution. Again, 2x2 isn't out yet, so that doesn't count. I think that's it. I don't know if I really intend to do this with any other character. There's a non-zero chance. I've still had the bear on my mind, so I wanted to do that. That's it. See you.